we go. Officially day one of Road to IFBB Pro. Finally kind of making that jump. It's funny, I had this little playlist thing that I made for a second that I refer to as Road to Natural Pro Card or something like that. And you know what? That's not where my heart really lies. So IFBB Pro Card it is. The natural lifting circuit of competition. You were fun while it lasted, but your boy has aspirations to go out and do some bigger things, to be a bigger thing. So that's what's on the to-do list. And that's what we're going to do, which I'm frankly quite hyped for. I'm excited to see how this whole thing prospers and goes out. And as one could, maybe assume, perchance, that I'm going to be shooting for my IFBB Pro card, that things may be getting a little quirky, a little unnatural, if you would. And if you are assuming things may get a little unnatural, a little out of the norm, yeah, you're right. It's going to be interesting. As of now, not on cycle, but sometime this year we're going to be, which, kind of weird to think about, but also, I know what I have to do. I know what needs to be done. And I know that I won't be an idiot, and I'll be safe through this entire thing. And I'm putting my hand out like that to catch my phone if it decided to flop on itself. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how it's going to play out. Like, I don't know. It's like a big deal, but at the same time, it's like so many people are in the same boat as me in this kind of quote-unquote profession or attempted profession that it doesn't feel too special. But then again, it's my journey in comparison to, let's say someone else's. Oh yeah, I'm so good at just holding my tripod and not having this thing eat it. But we're doing good today. Woo. But yeah, it's just gonna be a time. And it's interesting, I have a lot of moments where I look in the mirror, more or less, and I think to myself, it's like, I'm gonna take this route, but will I actually live up to it? Am I going to reach, the level of which I'm shooting for? Because, especially in bodybuilding, I feel, especially going for something such as an IFBB Pro card, and doing things that are of, PED origins, gear use and stuff like that, like, to not reach that potential, but to still do those things that will have, they will have lifelong effects on your health and things like that. Is it really worth it if you don't make it to that point? And I'm going to find out. I don't think I'm going to regret anything. I don't have any, thoughts of maybe regretting in the future, because, this is what I want. This is something that I really am going to be striving to do. And gosh darn it, all heckins, I'm going to do it. And like I said, I look in the mirror on occasion, honestly, more frequently than on occasion, and I go, the hell, I'm not built for this. This isn't going to happen. It's just not meant for me. But then, the other day, I went to a more commercial gym. I went to a Crunch Fitness in Grand Rapids, 28th Street. You might have seen me there. Maybe, probably not. But I was doing my chest day things and stuff, and I looked good. I was, large in comparison to the average goer. And I don't say this out of a sense of I was better. I say it out of a sense of, oh, shoot. I had something going for me. I put on muscle, and it shows very well. And it's always just, I'm a bit of an idiot. I have a lot of moments where it's like, oh, wait, yeah, I forgot that I, have mass on my frame. But to go to that place, just more general commercial area, things like that, be around the average gym goer, it, has shown me, it's maybe I do have the genetic possibility to, be semi-decent, to at least become a pro. To maybe even compete in the pro circuit someday and be somewhat competitive in the pro circuit someday. And I think that'd be really cool. And I mean, obviously, it's my dream. It's what I hope to be doing, 5-6 years down the line. which kind of brings me into like the how am I thinking about going about getting the pro card? What is the timeline? I am not telling y'all. It's something that I want to keep under wraps. Like, we're gonna be shooting for it, so just be wary if you ever see me make some posts and I just appear to be getting a little leaner than usual, even, you know, maybe even more usual for people who are like running cycles and stuff like that. Assume that I probably am prepping, or I might be doing just a cut, who knows. But I'm excited because I have a plan. I'm not just going to be kind of like doing the whole thing where it's like, I'll wait till I know I can win, because since when the heck do I wait for certainty in my life? It's like a big thing. I jump the gun a lot. Like, for instance, you know, I did my first natural show with like a year and 3 months of actual bulking, growth phase, esque training and stuff, and esque dieting. So yeah, no, I'm not too well versed in the act of thinking things through and being methodical. But this time, I am to an extent. I will have the plan of how I want to go about maybe obtaining a pro card, but the actions of which are not necessarily they're probably not the most, no one would endorse them, I think. But to put it mildly, I want to get that card ASAP. I think it would be pretty cool to have it around the ripe old age of, at the latest, I think 22. I think is when I would like to have it at the latest, but I have a feeling I could get it earlier, given some nice circumstantials, you know? Because as much as, like, you know, getting a pro card is as much about, like, having a great physique and being able just to be an absolute beast on the stage, it's also about luck. There are a fair bit of physiques out there that, you know, I've seen, I've witnessed, and things like that, that have, they've been good physiques, you know, good enough to get to the pro card level, but they are not necessarily ones I aspire to hold. They're not necessarily ones that I look at with admiration. And those kinds of people with those kinds of physiques tend to just get lucky, more or less. Either, you know, it's a weaker competition, or it's one of those situations where it's like the top two in any given weight class or something like that wins a pro card, which is, frankly, I find kind of ridiculous. And mind you, I'm happy that we are the entry to be a pro, more or less, in the IFBB. You know, it's a little lower. It's a little bit more accessible to the average bear, which I think is good. Like, you know, I think it spreads the love of bodybuilding to a wider crowd than what it would have. But in that same vein, like, you know, how much does a pro card mean if anyone who's, you know, been in a gym for 5 years and been able to run a couple cycles can get it? And obviously, not everyone who does that exact kind of thing is going to be able to get it. And heck, I hope to get it in under 5 years of training, just in general. Because, like, it's crazy to think about it. Pardon my French, it's just like thinking about it, I got my brain going, I got a little bit of a more emotional response. Like, I could get my pro card in 4 years of lifting. To think about that is crazy, because I started when I was 18 in September of 2022. And I mean, I put on mass like a bull, or I don't know what puts on mass fast. I put on weight faster than, you know, a grizzly bear going into hibernation or something like that. So obviously, you know, we have some structural not necessarily problems. Put on enough muscle, problems are no longer problems, which is really nice. But structurally, you know, not the best per se. I got some little weaknesses here and there, but I think the mass I'll be able to bring to the stage will be able to give me a little leeway. We'll see. But yeah, it was really nice. I was texting my coach the other day, just kind of filling him up. Filling him in. Okay. I'm just like how life's been and things like that on my end of the stick, and I just been like, yo, I'm actually putting on muscle pretty dang ridiculously, which is interesting because, like, it's only been a couple months, not a couple months, but September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So it's been like six-ish months since my show, and I've gained mass from even like prior to my show. Like, I'm the strongest I've ever been. I have the most muscle I've ever had, and which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, mind you, it's not going to take too terribly long after a show period to really kind of get back into it. It might take around 2-ish months. It might take a month, but for me, I feel like it took around that kind of 2-ish month mark. But since then, in 4 months, I've been able to like nicely, and maybe like on a nice exponential rates, those little swoopies on the graphs, you know. Like, I think I've been able to put on muscle pretty dang nicely. Like, heck, the other day I dumbbell pressed the 100s for 5, which is really nice. So, proud of myself for that. I'm not sure about the form. I didn't record it at all, which is also, you don't know if I'm lying or not, but I did it. And I totally, like, lightly blacked out kind of while doing it. Like, I would sit up, and then there were those, you know, those spots that you see when blood flow becomes just a little bit worse. So that was quite interesting to have to deal with. So, yeah, with that, you know, it was a good chest day. I mogged lightly, so that was always kind of fun. And I don't know. I really want to surround myself with more people who actually, like, take bodybuilding seriously, because, like, I can be like, yeah, it's like saying I went to a Planet Fitness and was the largest guy there. It's like, no dip, Sherlock. It's like you take training seriously, you take your diet seriously. You're not trying to fit in a little cardio session, a little weightlifting whenever you can. Like, your schedule revolves around, my schedule revolves around getting to the gym. And like all the other things that involve, you know, bodybuilding, making myself the best bodybuilder I can. Which, you know, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it will be a worthy investment. It would kind of suck if this all kind of came crashing down one day. But, you know, we do what we frickin' do. And what we're going to do is be frickin' phenomenal at this. And I just, yeah. I was able to, I did a little pose down kind of deal just in the locker room area. And, like, it was, like, you know, it was pretty, like, revealing lighting. There's no, like, real down lighting in there. But in the space I stood and stuff, like, I just looked like a meatball. And it was fun. I had a lot of guys be like, hey there, save some muscle for the rest of us. Save some ladies for the rest of us. And I'm just like, I'm good. Appreciate it. Or, I mean, the muscle thing, I kind of chuckled around and went like, hey, no, dude, I need as much as I can get. Like, you know, I'm a poverty case. But it's nice. I like that, you know, there's a lot of levity when it comes to, you know, I think guys in lifting together, more or less. So a big old win there. Although it was funny. So I was the largest guy in the gym whilst I was lifting, but as I was getting ready to go and doing some little light mobility work, just some stretching, kind of cool down kind of stuff, I saw this, like, you know, evidently kind of roided up dude walk in, and then he was the new large guy on campus. So I'm happy I was there when I was, because for that moment I was moving weight, and it was really cool. I just enjoyed it. It was fun. I was really giddy. I felt like a child in a candy store. The music I was playing was just an absolute vibe. And I just felt like a freaking unit. And yeah, I mean, I still kind of do. I'm going to continue to feel like a unit, probably, hopefully, as I get going with this wonderful back day we will have going on here today. And I'm hyped. Like, I feel way more calm. This is going to be, probably going to do some editing of some stuff and things. And this could be the first YouTube video as Trenton Lasky compared to the Gingerbread Man, because that's a little what's the term? It's brand change, image change. But yeah, moral of the story, we're switching it up a little bit from the Gingerbread Man. We're now becoming, you know, who I actually am. And I made a whole video about this on my TikTok. I kind of want to go maybe a little bit more depth here, just to kind of, you know, cap it off, maybe in a bit more long form way. When they announce, you know, who wins a show, they don't say your social media tags. They don't say, you know, your follower count. They don't say your like count. They don't say anything like that. They just say your name and whether you won or whether you lost. And that thought in my head, like, made me think, like, why am I putting as much work into my socials when I don't necessarily want to be a social media influencer? I want to be a freaking bodybuilder. And, like, I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, but it flipped a switch in my head where I said, all right, screw you, watch this. That's not the exact thing from The Bear, by the way. That's a great TV show, someone who's worked in the restaurant industry. It is painful how accurate it is. Like, I was getting PTSD watching that stuff. But the big thing really is that, you know, I had a change of heart. I'm done, you know, chasing trends, chasing followers, and all that stuff. I'm going to chase the stage. I'm going to chase the overall wins. I'm going to chase that pro card. I'm going to chase the Olympia. I'm going to be doing everything that actually matters to me and not the things that matter to other people. Because that's what's going to make me happy. That's where I'm going to find my most success, whether it is like, you know, objectively successful to other people in their eyes or not. It's going to be, you know, a story of success, a feeling of success for me and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, with that's why we're changing it up a little bit. That's why we're differentiating from the original differentiation. And we're going to be good. We're going to be freaking jacked. We're going to be freaking swole as all heckins. So, with that, we've arrived at a place of working out, and yeah, see you on the inside. Ow. Okay. It's pretty warm in here. Okay. I felt pretty good. I'm actually have to throw a 10 or something on this to make it a little heavier. Because I full stack that sucker. Ouch. Here we go. Jeez. If those may be wondering, it's like, oh, why are you only doing less reps with my right? It's for the fact that right now I have a weird thing with my back, so we're just prioritizing the left side. Woo.
Some guy named Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, that's Buddha's name, he figured out that all suffering comes from a yearn. It's such a crazy, like once I understood that, it almost pissed me off. It's
such a good take. Because it's like, I find myself feeling the worst about myself in the pursuit of other things, but also once that pursuit is like completed, it's like I feel great, and it's just all that other.
Yeah, and it's like saying the fact that I want to be happy discredits the happiness you already have. And everyone is born with an internal happiness that is always active, but being limited by other things.
That's exactly how I feel about like the act of just health in general. It's like the thing where it's just like you have this given amount of just like life you are going to live.
Vitality.
Yeah, vitality. But then there are other things that hinge on that throughout your life, whether that be like your choices, you know, to not exercise, alcohol, all the other stuff.
Like I'm sure you've heard qi before.
Yep.
Qi. That like the word qi originates in Taoism. And Taoism is the concept. One of their main concepts is that you already have the full amount of qi that you can have in your body at any given time, but you have to be able to allow that qi to flow throughout your body. You have to allow yourself to let life energy flow through you to be the most optimized that you can be.
It's crazy how all these like great philosophical ideas just like don't really exist as they once did by the sounds of it.
They exist now, but they're manipulated and twisted.
Yes.
The more that you break away from current society, the more you see where they're being broken and twisted. That's
the reason I'm kind of taking a different pathway with my online persona kind of deal. It's just like, he's like, I don't really want social media fame. I want to be a great bodybuilder.
Yeah, you want to be, and if you think about famous historians from the past, they're not famous because of their clout unless they were a ruler.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Most of them are famous because of the ideologies that they had that stuck. Like you aren't remembered for your fame. You're remembered for what you do, and you get fame because of what you do. A terrible pain in my neck.
Oh, damn.
Where I had to go get physical therapy as an 18-year-old.
Oh.
For my neck.
For your neck, jeez.
And they figured that out and told it to me, and I basically had no neck muscle.
Oh.
And so I now have to do workouts that increase something about the upper trap, like the lower trap taking over. Suppose the lower trap takes over for.
Huh?
So, no. I was just saying, the lower trap takes over for your neck and all that shit, and just creates issues.
No, I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, so I need.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I had quite a unique upbringing. With a dad who's a 10-year staff sergeant.
Oh, jeez.
He's easier than you would expect. He's actually pretty anti going in the military.
I feel like all level-headed people who go through the military come out with that kind of mentality.
He told me that if I'm ever going to be drafted, no you're not, you're going to go into the military and put your degree to use and avoid getting drafted.
No, dude, as soon as things get remotely close, it's going to happen. I'm filling out that ASVAB so I can get a nicer kind of gig.
Give me something cushy.
No, straight up.
Give me something easy. And for me, they'd be putting me in hopefully a manufacturing and engineering job.
Yeah, I think religion makes for a great moral compass and a great way just for
it gets so fucking manipulated.
No, that's the thing.
It gets so fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual message in there of what it's supposed to originally be versus what it is now just seems so dogmatized.
No, dude, that's the big problem I have. It's just
I'm like a Christian as much as well, not as much as I could be because I could do more. But what I mean is I believe a lot of the stuff, but a majority of what I get my inspiration in what I believe is more of the kindness that Christ does in the second half of the Bible, in the New Testament.
Yes.
It's I'm not out here looking for your stories of control and how these people suffered when they didn't get controlled by you. Because that doesn't sound like Jesus. That doesn't sound like what you're trying to portray. And I honestly feel like the majority of that shit is man-written. And I get that from my dad. But he believes the same thing, but it doesn't seem right. How can a loving God also want a blood sacrifice? That's one thing that I've heard that's always stuck with me. How can a loving God want a blood sacrifice?
Ah, jeez. So I just had a nice lengthy conversation with another lad named Trenton. He's also pretty cool. Probably has something to do with his name. But yeah, it was nice conversations. Maybe I'll throw in some clips that are semi-decent of it. Who knows? Maybe I just montaged over everything and you guys have no idea what we talked about. But to each their own. Oh, jeez. Yeah, now I'm just setting up myself for some Kelso shrug variation deals. Then of course, some extra padding for the chesticles. Let's see how this sucker feels. Last time I did these and recorded them, I think last week actually or something like that. Whew, your boy's form was god awful. So we're gonna focus more on actually, doing a semi-decent job with that. Because yeah, last time wasn't too pretty. Okay, a little light actually. Maybe it'll feel lighter this time. My ability to progressively overload has been progressively getting better. Ayo. So, throw on the 35s. So, ooh, metal clanking. Ah, geez, my hair, so it's very humid today. For some reason, it's 70 degrees, like in Michigan, in March, which you don't see too often. It looks like it's gonna rain, so we'll be dealing with that when we deal with it. I'm also very sweaty. She's too far down. All right, let's attach accordingly to the sucker. Yeah, this is gonna be a weird setup. Well, all right, that should be better. There we go. Ouch. So the other day, I got a little goofy during my push day, which was what that was, and I decided for just the sake of the pump, and also I was at a commercial gym. The bigger I look at a commercial gym, the better I feel. I feel like that's how it goes for a lot of people. So it's like, I'll curl the 50s real quick, and I did. But that hurt my arms. Not like bad, it's not like I have an injury or anything, but it's like I have this kind of thing where it's like I'll go to curl too much, and then I get what I think can be described as very acute, like distal bicep tendonitis, which is, I don't know if tendonitis is the right word, but just like I have an ouchie pretty much in my elbow, kind of more near the bottom of the bicep opposed to like the elbow itself, closer to where the tendon is, kind of deal. So just kind of working with that. That's why I'm using a lighter weight than I probably could. Usually I do the 40s for this, but 35 is the safest bet for right now because I don't want to die and all that fun stuff. Ow. All right. Off. Don't need a lot, just enough. Whoop-ah. Looking bubbly. I want larger shoulders though. Alrighty, then now my phone is near death. So what does that mean? It means we gotta get the pose down done before I'm officially done with the workout. So yeah. Gotta lower just a smidge. Alright, that should be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pump goes crazy. Ba-ba. Mandatories. Heck yeah. Woo. Yeah, no, we're looking like good and relatively like smaller, more compact. I don't know. I feel like one of my last kind of pose downs for YouTube, like, I just did not look as, lean. It's a bit fluffier. Maybe I'm putting on muscle, guys. Just a thought. Okay. Ah, shucks, man. I think the pump goes crazy. I don't know, though. Oh, jeez. I mean, I hope these look semi-decent. Wow. Oh, well, yeah, we did it. We did a pull day. Gosh dang darn it. And yeah, it was solid. Once again, did some progressive overloading of sorts, which is crazy because kind of having back-to-back weeks of lifting more weights, back-to-back weeks of weight going up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty dang nifty. I actually might have to invest in a gym pin, which part of me is kind of hoping will be a little bit later. I've made some, not larger purchases, but more or less, I purchased the experiences. I was heading to a concert this upcoming Saturday. It's a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, so that'll be interesting. And then along with that, going to be heading to the Detroit Pro show, so that'll be nifty. But you bet your boy's going to be respectful and show up for his fellow amateur competitors, because I'm hyped to see what that's like. Because we'll see what happens. Obviously, I have, it would be cool. Maybe next year I'll compete at the Detroit Pro and then go to a regional show kind of deal. Maybe I won't. We don't know just yet. And also the sun, I look extra pacey because the sun's coming in, hitting my glorious bod. But I'm incredibly hyped to see what ends up going down in Chinatown as far as that, because I mean, it's not, all respect to the Detroit Pro, there are some heavy freaking hitters that are going to be there, but it's not the Pittsburgh Pro. So, but it's still going to be amazing. I'm really freaking excited, mainly for Classic Physique, because Mr. Wesley Vissers, it's going to be his last show of the competitive season for this year. Because that man is going to be doing some work and a half, apparently, to bring up his legs, which I can relate to. Mind you, I store more fat in my upper body, so in the off season especially, the imbalance of my upper body to lower body is just freaking ridiculous. It literally looks like I don't train legs, and which does happen. Except I do train legs twice a week, and I enjoy my quad focus day, my more hammy kind of other focus kind of day that involves my SLDLs and things like that. I don't like as much. Call me a little boy, but just that feeling of ouchie in my lumbar spine, it's not necessarily my favorite, but that's also just because my form's a bit cruddy, so I've been thinking about maybe using a belt, perchance, something like that. So we'll see. But, I mean, with all that stuff aside, yeah, this will be his last show of the season. I'm incredibly excited, because hopefully, he won't be sick going into it like he was for the Arnold. So I'll hopefully be able to see a nice peaked Wesley, and then Matt Grego's going to be there too. So I'll be able to see him compete in the Classic division as well. And yeah, I'm really hyped to see that. Those are the two big names that I feel like I've heard that will be there. And then as far as the Detroit Pro goes, I mean, for the open class, James Hollinstead, Carlos Thomas Jr., St. Carlos Thomas Jr., something like that. But then some other people I can't quite remember. But, William Bonak's going to be there. It's going to be, the Open's going to be a really nice crowd as well. I think I'm going to do maybe a little, either a TikTok or YouTube video, just being my predictions for this thing and stuff and things. And I'm excited also because, chances to meet some pretty cool people. Ian Valaire, we will have Mr. I think Seth Baroche will be in the audience. Baroche. I literally just watched one of his videos. I should know how to pronounce his last name. But Samson Dowda will be there. Of course, Martin Fitzwater and all that stuff. Andrea Shaw, which will kind of be really cool to see. So I'm hyped for that experience. It'll be really cool to, see some people, do some stuff. And then, I mean, I think a lot of people, it's a hope for a lot of people. You want to go to these events and be a little bit of a looker. Be someone that people see and go, who's that kid? Because, I mean, that's kind of the dream. I mean, obviously, I don't plan on walking away with any brand deals. But, you know, get my name out there. Get my name kind of moving in the Michigan area. I think that's a pretty nifty thing of me to do, gosh darn it. Because, like, I have IFBB aspirations, gosh darn it. I eventually, the first pro show I would love to do would be the Detroit Pro. That would be a dream come true. But it's like, you know, it's a little up in the air for the fact it's like, I've kind of thought about this, and part of me wants to maybe like do the 212 level of competition. But it's going to take me a fair bit of time to get to that 212 weight and actually look freaking ridiculous at it. Because right now, as a natural lifter, I'm currently 170 and fluffy. Yikes. So to be 170 and fluffy, to get to 212 freaking stage shredded, that's some years right there. That is some time that should need to be invested. So that's going to be pretty okay. That'll be a fun little to-do list, more or less. Because I think it would be fun to compete in that. I don't know how successful I could be. The thing is, I'm short, so it's like, on paper, the open is already something that's going to be maybe a little iffy for me, stature-wise, but, you know, right now, this is all daydreaming. This is me being like, I think maybe, perchance, because I don't really know. You know, going for that higher level of stuff, I might not be cut out for it. But it ain't going to stop me. That possibility of maybe no. Because the thing is, when you tell yourself, or heck, when you just don't even try to begin with, you're failing right there. Now, it may not feel like a failure because, you know, you already told yourself that failure is okay. Like, it's okay to accept that failure. But what does that say about the things that you actually want to do? Like, I know, especially with the route of things I want to do, like there have to be moments where you're able to kind of push through the things that are going to be risky. Like, you have to be able to kind of look it in the eye, be like, you could mess me up. This is going to be terrible. And then do it anyway. Because sometimes that is what is keeping you from success. There's that ability to look at a situation, realize its perils, and be like, screw it, we ball. And that's kind of what I got going on right now. Because screw it, we ball, man. Hey, you know, it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. But yeah. So I'm excited to see how the Detroit Pro plays out. I'm so happy I'll be able to be there in person. Like, it's just going to be so cool. And then I think there are like a couple of people that I will kind of maybe hit a lift with over in that area. I don't know. It'd be cool to like bump into some of the athletes or maybe some kind of other fellow creators of sorts. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. Let's go over the pull day for today. So yeah, not to brag, on that little trotter, lat row, pull, row machine, chest supported row machine, we got there. I ended up having to add 15 pounds more or less to the stack itself. And I was controlling that sucker fairly well, so I was honestly pretty proud of that. Like, the strength gains have been just absolutely bonkers to me because, I'm moving the weights, although I will say, in some regards, the strength gains are bonkers to me. There are still moments where I go for some heavier weights on, some muscle groups, some muscle parts, and I end up just completely biffing it, And my form goes out the frickin' haywire, and it's not the best. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm not going to let maybe one set of bad form be the end-all be-all, because guess what? For a lot of my movements, it's 2 frickin' sets. So you ain't going to be catching me being a little wuss out here and, not holding back when I know I got another set to make up for the one that I might have biffed. Except it's a lot more productive to be pretty locked in with that initial set than to be like, oh, I got to make up for it now. So maybe not the best way, maybe not the most optimal, but I like going for PRs. I like going for higher reps of things and stuff. Like the other day, I might have said this in my first card talk. I don't really remember. But we did the 100-pound dumbbells for 5 for incline chest press. Gosh freaking darn it. That was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome. I nearly blacked out, but it was really fun. I felt like such a cool guy. Because like it's the hundreds. I moved the hundreds, and like for actually 5 freaking reps, which is great. Because I think the wanted rep range for those little pressies are 5 to 8. Now, of course, I was a little goofy. I had some 75s nearby, and I got 6 just to play it safe, you know. Especially when you're going a little heavy, the act of targeting the muscle effectively and maybe self-stabilizing that movement can be a little iffy. And, you know, part of me is wondering if my shoulders got a little bit more love than I would have anticipated. But moral of the freaking story, we did a thing. And that thing is pretty dang impressive. So, next chest day, you bet your tushy, your boy's going to be filming that. I didn't this time. I didn't this last time, though, because I was at a Crunch Fitness. And honestly, when it comes to those larger commercial gym things, I don't trust having a tripod. I don't trust any of that stuff. He's like, another funny story. I got kicked out of a gym the other day. How does that happen? I don't really know. I think the owner was a little bit of a sad man. Obviously, X-Roid user. He looked like such garbage. His face had some weird discoloring and stuff. And it's like, oh, don't be mean. Blah, blah, blah. No, the man kicked me out of his gym. I'm going to have my opinions. And my opinions are he sucks. So, that's what we got going on there. And yeah, no. Then it was extra funny. So I set up a tripod. He's like, oh, we don't do that here kind of deal. And then I'm like, oh, my bad, man. So I put it away, which, you know, on paper, that's a nice thing to do. I respected his wishes. That was great. That was so nice of me. But then, you know, I was working on a hoodie to start off with and things. And then I took it off to reveal kind of a tank top similar to this, you know, something that showed off the freaking phenomenal bod of myself. You know, it needs some work, but we're getting there. And, yeah, I worked out in that stringer for a little bit. And frickin' then he just walked up to me, handed my money back from my day pass and said goodbye or like get out or something like that. And it made me really happy because I think I made him pretty dang insecure because I was not causing a disturbance or a ruckus of any kind, you know. And if there was a dress code, he never told me. So yeah, I feel like I made a man insecure. I made a weak man insecure. And that's something more people need to do, I feel, because, you know, one of the best telltale signs on whether you are a good man, a strong man, is if you can make weak men crumble just by your presence alone. And I think I did that. I think I did that pretty dang well. Because whilst I was there, I was chatting up with this one guy, you know, around a year or two younger than me, who was doing some deadlifts, and they were pretty nice deadlifts. And I'm like, dude, what you're doing right there, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty dang chill. And I was a good energy. This man was a bad energy, and then, you know, totally rained in my parade. But on the bright side, I'd already gotten like half my workout done, and some of the movements that I had to do really like could have only been done there compared to the second place I went. So it's like I did what I had to do, and I made it down one piece, and it made for a really fun little TikTok video that, you know, got a couple thousand views, which I'm here for, and no mail. That's just pretty baller right there. Anyway, we are now going to eat food, I would hope. As I had a little burger patty that I brought with me. And yeah, now I gotta have the rest of my burger from the meal. Actually, probably gonna make my shake meal because that's smarter to have post-workout because protein powders tend to go a little bit better once you got the pumping. But also, I have plans to make this pretty cool YouTube video about maybe the history of the Mr. Universe competition. Kind of niche, but also I'm a big fan of bodybuilding history. I'm a big fan of history in general. And with that, I gotta get going. Hasta la pasta, everybody.